We are finally back with another video. I know it's totally been forever, and I know I promised like a 1 year update, but at this point, I don't even know if I'm really going to do that because I just finished my second year. The first year feels so far removed right now, so I think I can do a second year update and maybe include some things that were from first year or that I really felt were important from first year. But as of right now, I just don't feel like it's relevant in my life anymore. So I'll tie in what I can in that video, but I just feel like a second year update or maybe just like an overall update would be like kind of better, you know? But anyways, I'm just so happy to be back, and I felt like it would be really important to make a video that meant a lot to me because the whole reason that I made this YouTube channel was for like non-traditional people, especially parents, because I could not find the resources when I was applying to vet school or even when I'm still in vet school, and I still find it really, really difficult and lonely sometimes. So I just kind of want to be that person for, you know, anyone else who may be looking for camaraderie, community. That's a good one. For anyone else looking for like a community, like I can be there for you. Everyone's journey is so different, and I can only offer my own experiences. So I always want to preface by saying that like these are my own opinions, these are my own experiences. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but I always just want to say that because I feel like sometimes people take things too literally. Please like don't. And also my like DMs are always open. I think my Instagram is linked in my bio, so if you ever have any questions about anything or just want like another mom to like chat to and vent about things to, my ears are always open. So let's get started on this video. This video, clearly from the title, is the realities of being a mom in vet school. So I think I have like 5 or 6 things, and they're very like broad, and they all very tie in together with each other. Clearly my brain is just like melted from this year. I don't even know what I just said, so I hope that made sense, but they all tie in together, and it's just very general, broad things that I have noticed, and no matter how basic they may seem, they're so true, they're so real, and you just really have to keep them like at the forefront of your mind to just realize like these are normal things that every mother is going to go through, and just remember that you're doing your best. So with that, let's jump into number 1. The first thing that I want to talk about is overcoming the mom guilt. And honestly, I feel like that is a little bit misleading because I don't know if you ever can overcome mom guilt. I had mom guilt before I came to vet school, and it has tripled, doubled, quadrupled. Like I just feel it all the time. I feel horrible for studying when my son wants my attention. I feel like horrible when I'm like rushing, making dinner and then giving it to him and saying, well, mommy has to go study some more. And I feel really bad like when he has to stay after school in his after school program because I have, you know, classes that run late. And it just makes you feel like really horrible about yourself. Like you feel like you're not doing enough. And especially if your child is old enough to kind of express those feelings of feeling alone, feeling neglected, which my child does, and it just like really rips your heart apart. But I think with this point, what I really want to say is it's not going to go anywhere. Mom guilt is there to stay, and I think that's part of what makes mothers so great, is because like we are so in tune with ways that we can make our relationship with our children better from that guilt. And sometimes this guilt has no place. You are doing your best. But I think that's the thing to take out of it, is it's always going to be there. Just keep reminding yourself that you are doing your best, and that's all you can do. If you are meeting your child's needs, if you are setting aside time for them consistently, letting them know you love them, if you are communicating with them, letting them know I need to study, this is what mommy has to do today, these are the things that we have. If you talk to them like they're a real person, they're going to understand things more than if you're just like, go over there, do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, like, no, you can't bother me, blah, blah, blah. Like, they'll be more understanding. And sometimes they like learning about what you're learning about. So maybe tying them in that ways. But The first point is overcoming guilt, and you really can't overcome the guilt. You just have to remind yourself that you are doing your best, and that's all you can do. The second reality of being a mom in vet med is you need to have or build a strong support system. It's really easy to think that you have that in like your classmates and stuff, but just keep in mind they're going through the same thing that you are going through. And as much as they may want to really help you, if it's because of like school stuff that you need help with your child, realize that they're going through it too, and they also have their own lives and things on top of that. And it just gets kind of difficult trying to navigate things like that. So just keep that in mind. Your classmates do, or hopefully they do or will, want to help you and support you when they can, but it gets very difficult because you feel like you have a good support system with them, and you probably do, but they just won't be able to help you in the ways that they or you want, because you're both in the same program, and that makes it very difficult. So you do tend to have to go outside of the program, or you can ask professors. I have a handful of professors that I go to whenever I need help, especially last minute help, and they are usually always more than happy to like watch my son, and I honestly love that about them so much. I never thought when I came to vet school that I would be asking professors to babysit my child, and I have on multiple occasions. Like, no shame in my game, I just go right up to that like office, I need like I need this, and then they're just like, bring it, and I'm like, wow, who are you? I love you. But you can find support systems. It's just very, very difficult outside of the vet school, because that means you have to put in time. You have to build relationships with people that you feel comfortable enough letting watch your child. So if your child's in school, making friends with the parents, or if your child is not in school, asking the daycare, if they go to a daycare, what they would recommend, because finances are also very tight in vet school if you don't have additional financial support. So paying for a babysitter consistently, paying for a nanny consistently is, to me, just very, very unrealistic. And for people who give me these options, I don't know, to me, like, I'm not trying to shame, it just like screams privilege. And if you have that privilege, use it. Use the privilege. I just don't have that privilege. I am living straight off of loans, no financial support otherwise, and it gets very extremely difficult to manage that with a kid, because they don't take a child into consideration when you get your loans. So that's tea for another time. But yeah, so find and build a strong support system. I have a ton of stories on this, so if you feel like you want like examples or things like that, you just reach out to me and I'm more than happy to share them. The third reality of being a mom in vet school is you have to set realistic expectations for yourself. That includes you, who you are as a student, and then you, who you are as a parent, mother, wife, whoever that is at home. You need to give yourself grace when it comes to school. Sure, you could be top of your class. You could definitely achieve that. Should you? In my opinion, I let my first year of vet school kind of like take over. It wasn't pleasant for anyone. I was the pick-me of vet school my first year. Not proud of it. I was like, pick me, bat. I wanted to be involved in everything. I wanted to do this and that. I quickly burned myself out. I was like, yo, this is not it. And your school wants you to be involved. Your school wants you to like be involved in all these things, and they want to see you at the top, but then they also want to see you taking care of yourself, and like you need to take downtime. Oh, but you also need to be involved here. And I'm just like, y'all need to chill. Like, the first year you come in, you want to shine. You want to like be, oh my gosh, like I can handle everything. But should you? No. And my second year, I think it's just when I really stopped caring. I was kind of just like, no. I said no so many times. My second year, it is like a second language to me, and I love it so much. And saying no is going to come back for one of our points in the future, but just be very realistic about the expectations that you set for yourself. You can't be involved in everything. Your grades may not be the very top of the class. You need to be realistic in the times you set to study so that you can also be there for your family when you're home. And you also need to be realistic about your finances. You are going to be around people who You could be one of those people who are very like privileged and they come from a lot of money and they come from families who are very well off, and it's like all power to you. That is what I am building for my child. Or you could be like me and you could be living off of loans and you have no other familial support, and it's just very difficult sometimes, and you feel like you miss out on a lot of things because they're like, oh, it costs this and that. I'm like, cost? Like, why does everything cost so much money? And they're like, oh, it's just this. I'm like, the merch. Okay, y'all, that you need to be realistic about buying merchandise. Put it on like a group chat to a family or something. Put it on your little Facebook. I don't care who you put it to, but have someone else buy your merch, bro, because that stuff is so expensive. And it's cute. I did buy merch, but I asked someone else to buy it for me because just be straight up. Be like, hey, I want this. I can't afford it. Can you buy it for me? Boom. Like, people will do that for you. They'll buy it for you. Maybe not your classmates. I mean, like family. Like, ask family. Don't be like, ask your classmates. Like, I'm a broke ass bitch. Can you buy this for me? I very much do tell my classmates that I'm a broke ass bitch because I don't want to like hide behind anything. They'll invite me to things and I'll be like, no, politely no, because I'm broke. And it's definitely not a joke. And I know that they know it's not a joke. But they're always nice enough to still invite me. And so thank you all for inviting me to things. Sorry, I'm so broke. The next reality of being a mom in vet school is you have to advocate for yourself. Okay, you got to stand on your 10 toes, girl. And you got to tell some people sometimes like, no, or I will not be doing that, or I will not apologize for having a child. I gotta go. There have been multiple times where literally I'm sitting there about to go to a lab that you can't miss, that a ton of people do. And they're like, oh, where are you going? I was like, well, my son just had an emergency. Like literally the teacher just called me. I gotta go. And then people were just like, well, okay, well, I don't know about that one. I was like, I gotta go. Don't apologize. Don't ask. Tell. Like, you need to tell people. Like, that's it. When you tell them that way, it's like they don't get a choice. You know what I mean? And that's not to be rude. It's when I was in undergrad, God bless this man wherever he is today, but I had an advisor and he was in this like college inside of UGA. So I don't know how other schools work, but there's like little colleges inside of the college. And when I first came here from all my little colleges, I was like, what the hell? Whatever. But he was my advisor in this little college inside of UGA, and he told me, because I was pregnant actually at the time, I was sitting in his office pregnant, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I doing about school? And he goes, the one thing you will do is never apologize for having a child. And I was like, oh. You know, when some things are just so simple when they're said, but then when they're said in the right moment in time, they just mean everything to you. I have never forgotten it. And I truly hope that means something to someone else. You should never apologize for having a child. Okay? Like, things are gonna happen. They know that. And if they're any kind of decent human being, they'll understand. Sure, they might be upset in the moment if they really need you. You know, if you like have a job and they're just like, I can't because my child, are gonna be like, ooh, because they're gonna be really busy without you. And like, we understand that, but we are not doing this to hurt that person. We are doing this because first and foremost, like, our child comes first. Okay, I'm talking like we're a family. Just be able to advocate for yourself. Stand on your 10 toes, girl. Just do it. It's going to sometimes feel very uncomfortable. It's going to suck, but when you do it, they know where you stand, and then they know what to expect from you. What you don't want to do is let them roll all over you and to be like, no, you can't. Okay, I'll see if I can figure something else out. No. Nip it in the bud. If it is just you and you can't get us, if something happens, like, you're the one who needs to be there for your child. And that's what your child will remember. We don't care about what Sally, Susan, and Mary will fucking remember. We care about what our child will remember, okay? So just be there for your child. You're not gonna get kicked out of the vet school program because you're like, I can't make it to that one lab or the one test well, maybe the tests are a little bit more difficult. Honestly, like, just bring your fucking kid. Honestly, I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. I just feel like at this point in my vet school career, I'm just like 2 middle fingers up. I don't care. You're gonna kick me out for having my child? Like, that's fine. Maybe he can sit up there with you, professor. Like, I don't really care. Professors have brought their childs to childs. Man, y'all, I really need this summer break, don't I? But professors have brought their children to tests. So you don't know unless you ask. Advocate for yourself. Ask. You know, if some things you do need to ask about, ask. but like make it so in a way where it's like if you have no other choice, you need to kind of let that known. Don't make it seem like, you know, like, well, can we? Be like, I have no other option. It's either they come with me or we're gonna have to figure something else out. And then there they go. And then they're more amenable to help you. Trust me, there have been times I had to put my foot down and be like, well, this is what you get. And then they're like, all right, cool. Well, I guess that's what we gotta do. And I'm like, yes, it is. So it can be really intimidating at first, especially like maybe your first year. I feel like I'm to the point where I know enough people where I'm kind of just like I don't care like what you say to me or what you think. But you just need to be aware when you're like first starting that something you really need to like set a precedent for is your child comes first. Don't apologize for it, babe. The next reality of being a mom in vet med is finding the joy in the little things or the big things or everything. Just find the joy in everything. Don't constantly live for like the next moment. You know, like the little things. You come home from like a really rough day at school and then your child is like cuddling in bed with you and they want you to read them a story, or they want to play games with you, and just be like, wow, like I'm doing something right if like my child is just like coming to me for everything. Like they find solace, safety, and comfort in you. Take the joy in that. Take the joy in the fact that you made a bad grade, but now you know where you need to focus your studies. Now you know where your lower points are. And then take the joy in that good grade. Don't be like, oh, I wish I would have gotten better. Like, girl, shut up, okay? Like, you probably know that you could have done better, but at what cost? You know what I mean? If you study more, you lose more time with your family. If you spend more time at school, that's less time at home, in the comfort of your home, in the comfort of your bed. Like, could you have studied longer, but you got 8 hours of sleep? That is always a win for me. Like, I don't care about studying if I can get my full 8 hours of sleep, okay? 6 to 8, just depends on the test, you know what I mean? But it's just finding like happiness around you. Don't be like, oh, I wish I had a job and then I would have this income. And yes, you can have those moments. You don't need to be Miss like toxic positivity. Like, those also, like, I can't do it, y'all. I can't. Like, I always wonder, like, wow, like what's underneath that mask? You know, like, are you so positive because like maybe there's just so much stuff going on inside that if you're just not exuding positivity that you'll like break down? I don't know. I get a little like scared, and I love people like that, but also like sometimes you do need to like vent a little bit, and that's fine, but also don't be Miss Debbie Downer, okay? And I just feel so bad for people who are named Debbie, because that's what I think about all the time, is like Debbie Downer, you know, or Negative Nancy. And my grandma's name is Nancy. I don't think she's that negative, but you know, it is what it is. Just don't be one of those people. Don't be a Debbie Downer all the time. Don't be a Negative Nancy. Sometimes it's fine to be like, oh, I'm really excited about this class, and other people are like, yeeks, what? Like, those are normal reactions, and that's fine. But take joy in the classes that you love. Take joy in the fact that your, you know, grades may have not been that great, but you got all this sleep. Your child wants to spend time with you. Like, there's so many things to take joy in the here and now. You know, just keep that in mind. I think that's just something that gets too overlooked, and vet school can be a little doom and gloom sometimes. Everyone's like, oh, another test, oh, another day, oh, another this. But find a little bit of joy. You can find joy anywhere. If it's in like, you know, the friggin' coffee you had this morning, just find it, and it will make your life just a little bit easier. Okay, last but certainly not least, and I feel like this ties into a lot of the other points. I feel like I maybe have already covered this in another one, but I just want to make it its own point because it's just so important, y'all. It's so important. And I did not do any of this my first year, which is my biggest downfall. Create boundaries, okay? A reality of being a mom in vet school is boundaries are one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, okay? Like, boundaries. You need to say no to things. You need to, you know, there are going to be tons of people, tons of like lectures, lunch and learns that you go to, and they're going to be like, I just specifically remember this one specialty panel I went to. Maybe I went to a couple of specialty panels where they said this, and they're like, you need to, you know, come in early and stay. And this sounds so cliche, but I promise you this was what was said. I promise you. Maybe not like verbatim, because who's remembering that? not me. But they were like, you need to come in early, you need to stay late, you need to be able to make sacrifices until you make it. First of all, I'm not getting paid. I'm paying to be here. Okay? I will give you my all in the time that is allotted for me to give you my all. When I come home, I will give my all in my studies when the time is allotted for me to study. What I will not do is bend over and break my back and act like this is my whole entire world. Now, like I said, I did do that my first year. I was horrible at setting boundaries. Do you want to be part of this club? Yes. Do you want to be part of this club? Yes. Do you want to apply for this? Yes. Do you want to apply for that? Yes. My word should have been no, 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 and no. Now, that's not saying like don't get involved in stuff. Like, do what you can, but remember, set realistic expectations. But it's just setting boundaries with, you know, teachers, admin, other classmates, your own family. It can be very hard to say no sometimes. And we already covered the say no point, so I'm not going to harp on that again. But I think another thing that's really important is just remembering that there are tons of people in vet school whose stories we do not hear, and they just skated on by. And you know where they are today? They're a vet. They're a vet. And there's some people who are like, you shouldn't just skate by. But man, oh man, sometimes skating by just seems like the way to go. Okay? Sometimes you can be really, really good at things, and then other things you just need to skate on by that. Okay? You don't need to be involved in everything. You don't need to be at the top of your class. You don't need to be super freaking woman like the world expects mothers to be. It's okay to crash and break down sometimes. Like, that's fine. That should probably be another point. Like, girl, sometimes crying makes you feel better. But just be aware that you need to set these boundaries. Don't feel like because you're a mom and you're afraid of like judgment because you're a mother, because it's a very real thing. And as much as people can say like, I don't know why it's like that, it is. If you're a mom, you know what it is. You're doing things with your kid and you just feel those eyes on you. You feel that judgment, and it's very real, and it's very like degrading sometimes. And you need to be able to just set boundaries for yourself that make you feel safe, comfortable, and confident in the person that you will be as a mom and as a vet student. So don't feel like you have to make all these sacrifices. No, like set the boundaries, like just set them. Strong, firm, set them. Okay? If later down the road you feel like, oh, well, I think now it's time to change some of these boundaries because I can handle that more, do that. But I would say when you're first coming in, setting realistic expectations, creating those boundaries, those are going to be very important, because first year is very overwhelming and very good at just throwing everything at you. Like, oh my God, you're new. You need to get used to the curriculum. You need to get used to this lifestyle with your family. And we want you to join all of this stuff. And if you don't join all of this stuff, your application is going to be lesser for when you're applying to things such as scholarships, externships, all these things. Please just block all that stuff out. Create that boundary for yourself that you don't have to be this perfect person. I really hope that this video was helpful. Like I said, these are very like broad things. It was nothing like really too specific, because as much as this is like the reality of being a mom in vet school, it's just almost the reality of being a mom, like, period. No matter what kind of mom you are, no matter what you do, like, this is just very much a reality that we have to continuously face. So I hope that this helped somebody, at least one person, because I know that something like this maybe would have helped me if I was just like, oh, I didn't even think of it like that. Or if you have more questions, like, please DM me. You can comment. I'm home for the summer, so I will see these comments. Like, I changed it to where I get emails on them now, so I will see if you comment now. But you know, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to like provide that community for people. And, you know, just like we talked about in one of the points, be able to advocate for yourself. Part of advocating for like parents and stuff is building a parent community. So I would totally love to do that with you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so glad that I am back on YouTube. Sorry if I look a hot mess. As always, bye. All right. Chi-Chi's up. If you know where that's from, I fucks with you.